Being invited to an Amazon tribe humbles me. You know, it was a great experience. There are Amazon tribes that allow tourists to come in and do things like that, but then there's others that don't. And so a friend of mine who was a member of a tribe that was in the Amazon invited me, my husband, and my son to come out and deliver some donations and some supplies out to them. And I remember, when I was telling people where we were going, at the time we were living in Ecuador. And when I was telling people where we were going, the other Ecuadorians like, oh, you're going to the Amazon? You're going to deliver stuff to them? Oh, those people are so poor. They were like, oh, son pobre, son pobre. They don't have anything. So we travel and we go deep into the Amazon jungle, and these are one of the tribes you have to be invited to. There is no tourist, nothing. There is no hotel. There are no, stores and restaurants. You have to be invited because someone has to give up their home for you to sleep in. The community actually takes turns cooking for you, which was so great. One family like, okay, I got breakfast today. Next family's like, I'm doing lunch. Next family's like, I'm doing, dinner. Anywho, when I get there and we bring the supplies and everything, and I'm amazement. These people aren't poor, but that's what they're looking at it, out there. They're poor. But here's my humble experience. Really got me. So I come there with my, U.S. thing, and so I took $500 worth of dollar coins out there with me to use as prizes, to play games with the kids and stuff like that. So we were doing races and all kind of math games and all kind of games, and I would give the children, as they won, a dollar coin. So the thing is, when I do that in the States or anywhere else, the kids are like, "Oh my gosh, thank you!" So anyway, the kids win, and when the first game we played in, they won, and the winners, I gave them, a dollar coin, and then they looked at it like, "Hmm," and then they looked at me like, "What do I do with this?" I'm like, "It's money." They're like, "Okay, thanks." So they went and they gave it to their parents. And as these kids were winning these dollars, they were just like, you don't have any apples? Some oranges for prizes. So what I realized is what they were looking at as poor. These people didn't have much money. Not much money, no, but they didn't need money. They didn't have money back there. Everything they needed was growing. Chickens were running. They had pigs. They had chickens. They had everything they needed. They grew and they built their own homes. Beautiful homes back there. From the wood and the leaves and everything and all the resources that were provided by the Amazon. So if you didn't have something, you just traded with somebody else. So the money I gave them was just irrelevant. It was unneeded. Because, you see, we need money because now we don't provide for ourselves. So we have to buy everything that we need. We have to provide it, get it from someone else. Someone provides it for us. So you need money to buy the food, to have your house built, to get the things that you need. But they didn't need anything. And so that money to them was like me giving them a piece of wet paper. It was like, what do I do with this? There's nothing I can do. And I loved that. And that's the kind of community that I've been building back here in Belize, where we don't need all that money. We're growing and building on our own. And the amount of money that we need is becoming less and less and less. We're trading with other farmers. If I don't have this and I need something that they're growing, we trade. And I love this. I love this. I wouldn't trade this in for the world. That's rich. Now that's rich.